This morning I went down to my allotment and picked most of my red currants. I've got about 4 or 5 bushes, and I don't know the variety. They started out as tiny cuttings from my parents-in-law over a decade ago, but it took me about 10-15 minutes to pick the whole lot in a rough way, and I got 2 big bowls full like this. In fact, I made myself a complete laughing stock by cycling back through the village with 2 bowls like this on my bike. So some of them I've already de-strigged and brought them home, pulled them off the strigs. Some of them I've still got left to do. It's quite a nice job, just put on the radio or a podcast or a bit of Beethoven. And the berries themselves are quite a mixture. So this is a perfect strig here. Don't know if you can see. They're all exactly the same ripeness, so you can pick them all in one go, easy peasy. This one is less good because you've got some that are ripe and some that haven't bothered, and I think that's because we've had this really cool, like long cool stretch recently this summer, so they haven't all ripened. But what I'm going to do with the majority of these red currants is to cook them up gently, just gently bubble them on the stove, and I'm going to pass them through the mouli. Now in France everybody's got one of these. In Britain they're a bit less common, but you can find them. And you put your lumpy material in the top, so in this case it will be stewed red currants. Turn the handle and it catches all the pips, some really rough bits, and sends out a puree from underneath, which you then catch in a jug. I'll show you in a minute. Anyway, once you've got this red currant puree, it is so incredibly useful. I freeze it in little pots about that big, keep it in the freezer, and then you can just get one out whenever you want. You can put it with yoghurt. You could use it as a coulis or a sauce. You can add it to smoothies if you're into that sort of thing. They're incredibly versatile and really good for you. In fact, red currants, quite surprisingly, got quite a lot of iron in. Got iron, potassium, manganese, vitamin C, vitamin K, incredibly good for you. And they grow in Britain. I've probably spent about an hour in total all year paying attention to my red currants. And to me that is an incredibly good investment. I also picked these strawberries this morning. They're not in any way perfect. In fact, when you grow your own, you'll find that loads of your strawberries aren't perfect, and you just have to get used to that. But the nice thing is you can still use them. So if you look closely at these, you can see, what can you see there? There's some kind of slightly brown bits on that one. I've cut out the holes where a woodlouse has been in. That one's had a little peck out of it. I've just cut it off. But what you're left with is completely usable, delicious, fresh and nutritious strawberries. Now we've already made quantities of strawberry jam and frozen loads of strawberries in this form, and this lot I'm going to make into a sauce or a puree, and it doesn't need any extra sugar. It's completely delicious. Might even mix it with some of the red currant puree that we're having, and we might have it on ice cream later when we've got friends for supper. So the red currants are cooked now, and that's them sloppy in the pan. Just transfer them to a jug and pour them straight into the mouli, not overwhelming it so it can get a grip on them. And you just spin it round. Add a bit more. And what's coming out the bottom is this absolutely lovely, thick, nutritious puree, which you should be able to see if I lift it up. Yeah, look at that, amazing. Just pop that down for a minute. Now that is intensely flavoured, beautifully coloured, pretty much free. And then you just go on and freeze it in little containers. These are just old hummus pots, like that, and I find that one of those just about does a pudding or a meal. And you can use it as a sauce, add it to yogurt, put it on your breakfast, put it smoothie, anything. I'm just going to keep on going with these.